I always wanted a brother. I always wanted a brother. I always wanted a brother. That song is officially stuck in my head after watching this movie, guys. Mufasa the Lion King is a brand new Disney movie directed by the legendary Barry Jenkins, who is responsible for one of my favorite movies of, the past decade. So I was definitely excited to see what he does with this material. So this serves as both a sequel and a prequel to the original. Now, look, guys, the original is untouchable. It's a masterpiece. It's a classic, not only of animation, but in cinema. Nothing will ever come close to the greatness of the original animated movie. But if you are wondering, yes, this is better than a 2019 remake. This is a much more engaging experience. It's much more entertaining. In that aspect, it's a much better movie. Now, let's get into the good stuff, guys, and I want to talk about the story. The story is very compelling, it focuses mainly on Mufasa, but not only Mufasa, but also Taka, aka Scar. That's how I got my scar. Origin story is a little different from what happened in The Lion's God, so with that out of the way. And, Mufasa, this is his story of how he became king. He is a orphan. He got lost at the beginning of the movie, separated from his mother and his father. And then he stumbled on this pride who at first didn't really accept him, but he got a break. And that's one thing that's very evident in this movie is the fact that, Mufasa had a difficult childhood, as a cub, so things were not always easy for him. But what he always did to perfection is the moment he got an opportunity, he utilized it to, full capacity. He took it with both paws, if I can say that, and then you also have Taka, and then I feel like it's not trying to, humanize the character or make you have sympathy with the character. It's basically just explaining how he becomes the character that we eventually know as Scar. And I feel like that dynamic works very well. And also you have Rafiki in here. There's a little bit of his story as well. So it's not just entirely Mufasa, and I enjoy that. Now, another positive, guys, visually the movie is absolutely stunning, guys. I really, really enjoy the look of this movie. It's not groundbreaking stuff because I think by now we're used to how, these animals look now in live action, as opposed to animation, and that's okay. But I love the fact that, when it comes to the lions and the animals, in this one particularly, they show more emotion. There's more expression on their faces. And that's one of the biggest criticisms with the 2019 remake. So this is more along the lines of what they did with the Jungle Book back in 2016, which is a good thing, guys. That's always a good thing. And, I love the music as well in the movie. It's very memorable, but it doesn't, quite stick the landing like the original music. They try their best. That's why I say like there will be a few songs here that grow on people, especially like I Always Wanted a Brother. I feel like that might be the one that connects with audiences, and those are the three positives. The good stuff. When it comes to the bad stuff, guys, I feel like the one thing here that put me off is the fact that they're trying to do the prequel and sequel thing tied in together. And I feel like that was a major mistake. It should have just been the prequel, because there's instances here, where the story cuts back and forth and we see Kiara and Timon and Pumbaa and, Rafiki, he's the one telling the story. And I feel like that is the weakest aspect of the movie. That's where things just disconnect, because you find yourself, getting engaged with what's happening with Mufasa and Taka, and then they just jump back to, that section of the movie. And I feel like that is the weakest aspect, because some of the jokes in that, cut scenes when they go back, they don't hit. And I feel like it's pointless. It wasn't necessary for them to include that in the movie. They could have just cut that out entirely. I feel like if this just focused on the prequel and just told that story, it would have resonated more with people. But the jump back and forth, just distracted me a little from the actual story that's being told. And that is the one thing for me that I feel is a major, major letdown, guys. And I feel like that is the area where the movie loses a lot of points, and that's the only negative I can really think about, guys, and I feel like if that was eliminated and taken out of the movie could have been better. It could have been a better experience. Now, when it comes to a rating for this one, guys, I'll definitely give this one a 3 out of 5. Easy. 3 out of 5, solid 3 out of 5, because the basics, the things that they needed to do right, they do very well. The storytelling in terms of the origin story is very good. Music on point, visuals on point. The voice casting is another thing I didn't talk about. The voice casting is very good. It's just that, in telling this story, when they jump back, back and forth between present day and, telling the story, it's very distracting, guys. Very distracting. And I feel like that is a big letdown for me. It wasn't necessary to include that in the story, but that's something that's there. And honestly, guys, I think this might be the weakest in Barry Jenkins' catalog. Barry Jenkins is a great director, guys, but I feel like he should stay away from these type of things, I don't know how much the studio was involved in this, because I feel like the inclusion of Timon and Pumbaa says a lot about the story. I don't think Barry would have added that in there, but that's just me speculating, guys. But it's a solid movie, guys. It's a good, entertaining movie, and I feel like it's a movie that's gonna, audiences are gonna enjoy this, especially a more, young adult, younger audience. Not for the kids. The kids will, have fun, but there's things in here that only a more mature audience will catch, and I feel like that's okay, guys, because nowadays they are actually making, movies like this. So I feel like Transformers 1 is a movie that surprised me, and I feel like this is in a similar vein, but it's not as good as Transformers 1, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about this one. If you guys watched it, are you interested in watching this one? And that's it for me, guys. Catch you in the next video.